All right, here's a question for you guys. Okay, let's have some fun. Whose retirement ends the soonest? Henry Cejudo's or Conor McGregor's? Now, I must tell you, nobody should be upset with either. If Henry Cejudo is sincere in that he wants to go out on top, that is a very nice way of him tipping his hat to the boys and saying, you guys look great. You guys are doing a great job, and I don't know how much longer I'm going to be here. I mean, very nice. C'est la vie. Well done. I just don't know if he's trying to pursue a boxing match, which is about as rough and tumble of rules as you can possibly come across. I mean, you're only allowed to do two things, right? Punch a guy with this hand or punch a guy with this hand. Pretty rough rules. I don't know that his days of competition would fully be behind, but that's up to him. If he wants to go and try something new, this is a guy that's already conquered two different sports, and maybe he wants to go after his third. To look at Conor, though, there is really no way to be upset. I don't buy it. I don't buy the retirement, but you also can't be mad at Conor because of the way Conor did it. Conor did not try to do scorched earth approach, right? Look at John Jones, who's just trying to scorch everything, burn it all to the ground. If I can't have it, then nobody else can have you either. It's a little bit different thing. I mean, Conor, in fact, was the exact opposite. He said, you want to know what my frustration is? My frustration is that I want to fight, and they're not giving me a fight. I want to go to work. Oh, and by the way, I'll do it at one of two different divisions. You go ahead and pick which one it is. You can't be mad at him for it. There is no way to come away with that and be upset. Now, does that seem like a wound that we could put a Band-Aid on pretty quick? Yes, definitely. But it also sounds like you're probably going to have to give him something to do. And don't forget, this whole idea of him waiting to fight Khabib was first hatched. That plan was hatched when Khabib was going to fight in May. April, to be first, right? 249 was supposed to be in April, gets moved to May, and then be ready for the Conor match in mid-September when Ramadan's over. That is where all of those pieces were supposed to come down. The fact that Khabib did not fight at 249 and now must defend against Gaethje in September pushes any possible opponent to December at the earliest and most likely the first of the year for Conor McGregor to go, look, I want a match. You got to offer me a match. I want you to offer me a match. Well, that's kind of refreshing. I don't know that you pack up your ball and go home because of that, but it does seem like something you can smooth out. And either way, there's really no way to be mad at Conor. That's the kind of leadership, in all fairness, you want in the locker room, particularly right now. That actually sticks it in the face of everybody else who's trying to go me, while taking the high road and saying I'm looking out for other people, none of which is true. Conor appears to kind of be doing everything you want him to do, except for the retirement. We don't want Conor to retire. I also have to look at it and go, wait a minute. Conor McGregor, who's willing to go at two different weight classes right now, he's willing to go to a made-up weight class and take on Anderson Silva. I am not done letting that pipe dream go. But just me personally, I'm into that. Conor's into weird. Everything Conor does has to be an unusual thing. The more unusual it can be, the more it entices him for whatever reason. I'm into it. That's unusual. That's at a weight class that doesn't exist, and they're going to make up and write down on a piece of paper, shake hands, walk away, and come back and do. I mean, there's something very special about this fight. But Conor's also willing to go at 170 pounds. That's not just talk. That's proven 3 times over. He's done it 3 times over. And you are left with George Masvidal. And the whole reason Conor came back at 170 to start with was for George Masvidal. Before Conor got back, Masvidal sweetened the pot by becoming a champion. Conor likes championships. It's going to be a 5-round fight anyway. Why not have a strap up for it? I mean, there's a lot of things that make sense there that I'm a little surprised people aren't talking about. Now, the reason they aren't talking about it is because there's something missing from this story that we don't know. Or possibly we do know and we're not allowed to say. But the bottom line is, getting them to the table seems difficult right now. I would ask that we deal with a little difficulty, because that's a very special attraction. It's a very special attraction for many reasons. Doesn't hurt Conor in the least at 155. You go up to 170, you lose a title fight. Doesn't hurt you at all at 155. Now, people might disagree with me, but if you want to get this fight together, you better at least say you don't disagree with me, start getting the wheels going in that direction. But Masvidal's looking for something to do. Masvidal said no to a world title fight. People are stunned that he said no to a title fight. Masvidal has a title. Don't forget that. How many people think, how could you ever say no to a title fight? Well, you can say no to a title fight if you got a title, and he does. I think the first thing we need to do is do away with it. There's going to be no lineage to the BMF. The boys want the BMF. So put some lineage up. I think he's got to defend it. I think that you put it on the line. I think that we need to run that one back, even if it's through a press conference. But let's make it very clear that Masvidal's next fight is for the BMF title. I mean, I think there's a bigger attraction there. Worked one time, why wouldn't it work a second time? And I do think that Conor versus Masvidal is something that's very likely. So if I was to bet whose retirement is shorter, I think it's going to be Conor's, because I don't know that he ever needed to retire in the first place, and I don't know that I have ever held anybody accountable for a tweet that they sent out at 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning.